Hello YouTube, this Keith Kevin Ken. How you doing? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. It's time again for another knife of the day, and ooh, this is a doozy. Yesterday I introduced you to this brand new Spyderco, what was it? Indela. The Indela. The in-between of the Endura and the Delica. And in the same package, I got two more knives. This is the one I want to introduce to you first. Tomorrow, I'll introduce the third one. This is, listen to this, because this is one of my favorite knives, and I love that Spyderco did this. This is the brand new Spyderco Sprint Run of the Shaman with S90V steel and carbon fiber scales. I talked a little bit about the native, when I talked about the knife yesterday, that Spyderco is remaking the native in a whole bunch of different ways. And I love that they're looking at their standard knives, the foundation of the company, and reimagining different sizes and that sort of thing. With the native, or for instance with the Delica and the Endura, they do the Indela, something in between. They've been introducing a lot of new value folders in their value folders line. They're going to introduce more this quarter. And the native, we saw them do the little native. Now the classic native has the backlock, but the little native, they released in a compression lock as well as a backlock. And they introduced the Shaman last year. And the Shaman is, as Eric from Spyderco says, a large native. You see that? It's native on steroids. Later this quarter, they're going to introduce a native chief, which is between the Shaman and the native. So you're going to get all of these classic made in America designs in a lot of different variations, and I love it. And the Shaman, just introduced last year, already had their Blade HQ treatment. You know, the natural G10 and the wonderful steel. Now it gets its first sprint run. So let's talk about the Shaman. If you're not familiar with the Shaman, it's just that. A huge native, Spyderco native. It's a big knife, and it feels so great in the hand. I'll talk a little bit about the scales and my feelings about the scales. First of all, I love carbon fiber. So let's get that out of the way. But I want to talk a little bit about the Shaman. So of course, you see the full flat ground blade with the swedges on top, nice thick stock, the jimping. On all of the classic Spydercos, that 50-50 forward choil, and that Spyderco leaf shape as well. This is an S90V steel, a very good steel. 3.6 inches, that's what I mean by a bigger knife. Oh man, this came out of the box yesterday, and look at it. I've done nothing to this knife, and just look at it. It's as smooth as a knife can be right out of the box. Literally right out of the box. Great D10 as well. 3.6 inches is the total size of the steel. That's of the blade. That's the top of the handle to the tip of the blade. Of course, you got to take out some of that steel from the forward choil. So the edge is a 3-inch edge. Great slicer. Great everything knife. This is one of those knives, if I finally end up in a van, this is one of those knives that you just know will come in handy. I've had all of the Shamans, all of the variations, the serrated, the blacked out versions, as well as the Blade HQ version. Most of them I trimmed, but I still have the serrated version in black G10 because, again, I think a serrated version of a big knife like this will come in handy. But this is an all-purpose EDC knife. If you like bigger knives, this is a great knife. Smooth as silk. Now, of course, what a sprint run means is it's a limited edition from Spyderco. I always say it's about 1,200, give or take 200 knives. You never really know exactly how many from Spyderco. One reason I like to collect coins, I do silver coins. I love it because there actually is a book every year, and the mint actually release how many of a certain coin they sell every week, every month, every year. And they also talk about how many they expect to sell. So when you're buying a coin from the US Mint, that is, you actually see how many they expect to make. How rare it really is. With Spyderco and their distributor exclusives or their sprint runs, you really don't get a view. You hear rumors. But this is a nice one. It really is. The sprint run's great. Now let's talk about the scales. I have to tell you, and I've said it before, Spyderco makes the best smooth G10 scales ever. So even the standard Shaman with black G10, it's kind of rounded. It's a 3D kind of shape to it. It just molds. I mean, it just flows into your hand. Even the black G10 felt great. So when I opened this up, I went, man, I'm so thrilled. When I heard they were doing a carbon fiber version, I got very excited. Of course, carbon fiber, good carbon fiber feels just luxurious in your hands, and it looks unbelievable. So the carbon fiber makes an already perfect handle in G10, smooth G10, even that much better. It's a wonderful knife. Of course, it has a compression lock, and that's why that blade just falls. Strong lock. Spyderco's very strong lock and very smooth release without even moving it. Right out of the box, 1 day old, and that's how it falls. Just a real nice knife. A bit of a back spacer on the lower end. It has a 4-way clip, the big clip, left hand, right hand, tip up, tip down. And this is the clip that covers, when it's tip up, the hole for the lanyard. Doesn't cover it. It has a hole in the clip and a hole all the way through the back spacer and the carbon fiber for a small lanyard hole. See that? It's the Shaman. It has to be one of my favorite releases from Spyderco, the Shaman. I'm not a huge big knife kind of guy, but when it's done well, and when the scales look like this and they feel great, they really feel nice in the hand, you've got to admire it. And I love what Spyderco is doing this year, especially this year, with their foundation pieces. Yeah, we'll still see like the Paisan and others, some new Spydercos. But I like what they're doing, expanding their tried and true knives and going elsewhere with them. I really like that. The native, making different sizes of the native. You know, the Indela, the middle size, after so many years of the Delica and the Endura. What they're doing with the value. I'll tell you, those value knives, they're going to release more newer value knives as well. You can come up with a wonderful collection of Spyderco knives. We're talking 8, 10, 15, 20 knives when you talk about the variations, all of value folders. I mean, you can have a great collection of real nice Spyderco knives for $200. I love the value folders. That's how I got into Spyderco. From value folders to a sprint run Shaman. And that's the knife of the day. Brand new. Just released. Spyderco Sprint Run Shaman. With carbon fiber S90V scales. I put it up against a large Chris Reeve in Cosi and a paramilitary 2 to give you a size comparison. Hey, you have a perfect day. Keep those pockets full. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications. Man, it just helps me a lot. And also, it'll help you too when I start selling some of my knives. I will be trimming this collection, especially this quarter. So there'll be a lot of great knives with great prices. You have a perfect day. Keep those pockets full. Goodbye.